vaccine because I care about you. We understand that we are all in this together. We understand that as goes one, goes all in this city where we all live together and in this state where we all live together. We have to get back to work. We have to get back to work. And we have to get back to work now. And we have to spread this message or we're going to spread the virus. And we have to get in those communities and we have to knock on those doors and we have to convince people and put them in a car and drive them and get that vaccine in their arm. That is the mission. And while everyone else in the country is saying, oh, boo, the sky is falling, the numbers are going up, New York is going to say, yeah. And that means we're going to get ourselves in gear and we're going to get the job done.
Hello, everybody. That was Cuomo of New York telling all his people how he's going to put them in cars. Isn't that great?
You drive everybody, yeah, put them in cars. What kind of cars? Train cars?
No, he didn't specify.
He didn't specify, did he?
So,
You know, I remember another regime that put people in train cars. I can't remember though who it was.
I know what gene it was. I don't know if we want to say his name though. Probably get our show in some trouble. So it was a certain kraut, or not a kraut actually, an Austrian technically. I mean, we're gonna get.
It's
technical.
something about like poor guy like hitting a lady, like hit her.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
He was a dwarf. He was a dwarf. A dwarf hit her. I don't know.
A dwarf hit her. Yeah.
Some woman crying about a dwarf. But anyways, yeah, Cuomo's
Yeah.
doing some draconian crap. Like, I'm gonna be.
That ain't no joke.
You know, you said it best when I showed you that clip where I was like, I'm not playing around. He said that on television, just straight up right there for everyone to hear. So I give you this, Cuomo. I always give politicians this. You'll hear it on the show often. I give you credit for being honest.
Yeah.
You know, and he even says it. That's the mission. Listen to that, eh? I'm a Bostoner.
That's the mission.
I'm a Bostoner. I know what the mission is now. I can't even do Boston right, but you know what it is. You know what it is. Bubbly.
Yeah, that is evil. That is pure evil.
Yeah. No. Sorry. Don't mean to cuss on the show, guys. I'll go ahead and edit that out. But anyways, thank you guys for joining in. This is, of course, we're switching to the video format. But Cuomo is what I wanted to open with today. Oh, goodness. Sorry, I'm drinking bubbly. It's carbonated water, and it's got great flavors without the carbs, without the calories. It's great. As I was saying, I wanted to open up with that because it's the most insane, like, story this week. Other than, let me go ahead and say other than, but I do think this kind of outranks because our president, God bless him, God help him, more like,
Yeah.
he said, or alluded to, that, firstly, he said, that he's going to possibly be making it mandatory for federal people to be vaccinated. And I want to get into that in a second. More importantly, he said this crazy thing. He said, word for word, it's the unvaccinated people's fault that COVID started. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, if you don't believe me, you can look it up. That's what he said. He's like, this is unvaccinated.
This whole pandemic is because of the unvaccinated. Like, what?
Yeah. I mean, I guess he's not technically wrong because, you know, none of the Chinese people were vaccinated when it happened, I guess.
Yeah.
Right? Let's just play around with, let's play devil's advocate here. Maybe that's what he meant, right?
You're right. That's exactly what he meant. Thank you for explaining old crazy Joe to me there, John.
Democrat in the comments, like, already typing that up, you know. You know?
Slamming on his keyboard while he's doing it.
Yeah, that's what he meant. You're getting it out of context. That's what he meant. Yeah. is some crazy stuff like that.
Yeah, you gotta really, 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 like take up for that guy because he gets a lot of stuff that can be construed out of context. Often.
Oh yeah. Did you get the vaccine? You feeling okay? Well, anyways, the moon landing, and kids want to look up videos of the moon landing on Google. And
Yeah.
they want to know if aliens exist on Google. And everyone's just like... or even better yet, have we talked about that? We talked about that last episode. Yeah, again, is there Republicans that believe that we suck the blood out of kids? I'm pretending to be a reporter. Look at me. That my knife is my microphone.
Yeah.
I
don't know. Do you suck the blood out of little kids? And he like walks off. I cannot. But you can't make this stuff up.
It's too funny to me. It's just...
It's funny and it's sad all at the same time.
Yeah. It's like, I wish, and this is what I've said, if not for the whole, like, deep state, like, shadow government in the works right now, it would be actually hilarious. I'd be enjoying all of this.
Oh, yeah. If it wasn't for the evil that's looming over all this, I'd be laughing my butt off.
I'd have probably voted for Biden just for giggles.
Oh, just for the comedy. Yeah.
At that point, what would it matter? That's, I vote right morally because at least the right tells us what we want to hear, but do they follow up on it? No, they're politicians. So, I'm done with the whole Republican left-wing crap. And I'll be honest, that's why I like Trump, because the Republicans didn't like him. And neither did the Democrats. The Democrats really didn't like him.
Oh, the Democrats, yeah. They hated him.
4 years
because he was honest.
Every day, man. Can we talk about that? Like, there's some conversation material, man. Do you remember the 4 years under Trump, how, like, every waking moment was just like, Trump did this today! Trump did that today! I want to... It was just this hate all the time, like, from every channel. Every, like, Facebook, Twitter, everywhere. It's just hate, 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 hate. They're calling him Hitler. Trump didn't threaten to put people in cars. Trump's not pushing critical race theory. And honestly, Kanye West likes him a whole awful lot, which George Bush didn't even get that privilege.
George Bush hates black people.
Yeah, George Bush doesn't care about black people.
Yeah.
I'll have to play that sometime. It'll be great. If you want to see a funny video, look up Kanye West George Bush quote. It's funny. It's hilarious.
Yes.
And even George Bush responded to it, which cracked me up. I'm like, have you nothing better to do, Bush?
Oh, he was like super offended. Like super offended. I cannot believe you would say that about me. Like you could really tell, like, it was coming from, like, he wasn't pissed, like, you know how the left, like, gets really pissed at you when you tell the truth because they know it's the truth?
Yeah.
This wasn't that. And don't get me wrong, I don't trust George Bush. Okay.
I don't think there's much. I mean, there's probably several of our main fans will tell you right away that he did the whole towers thing, but that's neither here or there.
No, I don't think he was the cause of the Twin Towers. But I don't trust him because he is buddies with the Clintons. And so, but with that said, I don't think he's a racist because you could tell the obvious, like, horror in his eyes when he was saying, I can't believe you said that about me.
Right. No, and, back in those days it was different. Like, I don't know where this whole, like, I know exactly where it came from. It came from rules for radical communists trying to cause a race war so they can take over.
Mm-hmm.
It came from, because when I was a kid, like, racism, I didn't even know racism existed.
Yeah.
I had no clue. Like, I never felt prejudice. I saw, like, there was these kids, and they were, in our area, they were Navajo when I went to school. but I didn't think anything of it, like, at all. Period. Like, I was like, oh, hey. Because there was one named John. I was like, hi, John. He was like, hi, other John. And that was it. Like, I didn't...
Yeah.
And nowadays, it's like, they want to put this crap in our schools where it's like the first thing when you walk in the door, like, hey, did you know, white people are evil? Hey, did you know that, like, you just, like, this weird race thing where it says, like, what business is it of kids? You know? I think that's really...
Yeah.
And there's plenty of videos out now of parents talking to school boards and stuff. Like, why are you doing this? This is insane. This is racist. Black people, white people getting uppity about it. But here, let me tell you something. America, listen to me right now. I'm going to look right at the camera so you get real personal. Is it a big surprise when the government you don't trust is teaching the system, right? They own the school system, and they're teaching a thing that you don't trust.
Yeah.
Like, I know it's all great. Go to the school boards, try to fix it, but in my opinion, your best thing you could do as far as protest, get your kids out.
Oh, definitely.
That's just it. Like, how many times I hear these, like, their days are ruined, these, like, conservatives, you know, and they're like, I can't believe what they're pushing in our schools. I can't believe. I'm like, I can believe. They've been pushing that even when I was a kid. Like, not to the same degree, but they've been pushing it.
Well, I've had a problem with that even back in the day. Like, and there's so many people, and they always use this excuse, well, you know, you can't judge me the way I raise my kids and everything. Okay, well, I'm not judging you. But they'll spout that off. I can't believe what they're like they have in our schools, and yet they still have their kids in public school.
Yeah, it's just
and
like,
and it comes down to, well, me and my wife work. We can't we can't do that. And I'm like, well, okay, so first of all, maybe if you wouldn't have bought a $300,000 house and 2 cars and all this other stuff, you could afford for the man to go to work and for the wife to stay home like God intended.
yeah, huh, interesting. Oh, big whoop. No, I'm sorry. There was a dynamic here, and that's what made America. And everybody on both sides will agree that America was better back when. Different periods, different people will tell you, yeah, America, like when I was a kid, like old people. I spend my whole day talking to old people. It's my job. I'm not going to get into that, but that's my job. And all
Yeah.
the time, left or right or indifferent, they're always like, it was so much better back then. It was so much better. And maybe that's just old people syndrome. Because even I, like, sit back and look at my teenage years, and I'm like, oh, it was so much better back then. But, hey, you know, it's one of those things, I look at it, and just, like, from statistic, like, analysis and everything else, like, look at the 60s, at least in the home life, not so much the Vietnam life, because that sucked.
Yeah.
The 60s, like, you know, for the young man and the young woman, like, you know, let's go down to the corner shop, baby, and get us a smoothie, and then we'll go watch the drive-in theater, and, like, you know, it's just this very, like, laid-back time, other than the riots and things that ensued. But, again, back in those days, those things, I'll be honest, Martin Luther King Jr., I think that was very necessary. I think there was issues at hand. And I think he's like
definitely.
the main martyr and like the final guy to have done a real, genuine, caring job about it. And then I'll hear a bunch of alt-rightists already. He was a communist. He was a... I'm like, shut up. You know, even if he was, what eventually got passed in the end, because actions speak louder than words, was a pretty awesome thing. You know, racism was frowned upon. People got...
Well, that's just it.
You know,
And even if he was, here's the thing. I truly believe that Martin Luther King was an intelligent enough man. If there would have been the right person that would have talked to him about that, because I have known people that have called themselves, not necessarily called themselves communists, but have asked me, the younger crowd, a lot, well, what's wrong with communism? And they're not doing it because they're like being mean or spiteful about it.
yeah,
They honestly,
yeah.
They honestly want to know, like, well, why do you have a problem with that? It sounds great. And that's when you actually have an opportunity, rather than to be, and I hate that about some boomers, hateful to them. Well, son, what the hell are you talking about? Shut up. No, 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 no. Whoa, 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 whoa. Explain to them. Don't be a dick. Explain to them. Okay, well, let's sit down. Let's talk about why communism is evil.
Right, and even just like you might not have to, because like it's one thing to say, well, they killed this many people, and they'll go look on the internet to see if it's true, and Google will tell them no. Tell them to look as well into just the economic policies and ask them what they prefer.
Yeah.
You know, like, would you prefer to be able to start your own business without restriction, and then be able to sell to anybody who walks by, you know, or wants to come in and buy something from you, for you to be able to provide that? Or, you know, and then you get that profit, which allows you to keep your business open, allows you to buy more stuff for personal life, like cars, houses, vacations, you know, whatever. That sounds pretty good. And then under communism, you know, and I already like know it's kind of funny to me. Kids hate being managed. I hate being managed.
Mm-hmm.
Grown ass man, I hate it even more. And it's especially bad. That's one thing when a job is like, you know, because a manager, you know, he's like, hey, you know. And if a kid, you know, hey, kids, I get it. That's why you think, like, you know, capitalism is so bad is because your manager's a dick, you know. That's pretty common with these people.
Mm-hmm.
But here's the thing. You hate being managed so much. Why would you give that all over to the state? That doesn't make any sense.
Well, and also, especially, I mean, Generation Z and millennials, which I am the older. I'm like a, what would you would call an ancient millennial. Millennial.
Yeah, you're an exillennial.
Mm-hmm. Uh, we like our technology. Okay, we like our Apple iPhones. We like our computers. Good luck having an Apple iPhone in a communist country.
That looks like something that belongs to a bourgeoisie. But that's just it, right? Look
Yep.
at and like share different examples. It's like, hey, I know you have glasses on. Joe, let's say there's a 16, 15, 14-year old named Joe. I see you have glasses on. Well, let's go back to Cambodia during the Vietnam War. Cambodia was busy killing anybody who was wearing these because they were a sign of the bourgeoisie. So, ask again, what do you prefer? Do you like wearing your glasses, or do you want to have to hide them because it makes you look rich? And, you know, that's just
Interesting. I
it.
didn't know that. Is
Yeah.
that where the stigma came that if you wore glasses, you were smart?
Oh, that just, I think, came from more than anything. But it could also mean that.
Because I've known a lot of dumb people in my day that wore glasses.
Yeah. That's just it. They saw these things like, oh, you had to have money to buy those prescriptions to make you see better. You are bourgeoisie, we kill you now. So that's how it was. And that was under Pol Pot, you know. If any of you want an interesting like history lesson on communism, like there's a lot of communist nations that have come and gone. One of the most like clear and honest and just straight to the point is the case of Cambodia. That one is insane. We almost, if we weren't busy with Vietnam, we would have invaded there as well. Just kind of a fun fact.
Right.
Um,
Well, we actually, that's the reason why they hid in Cambodia. Their, their missiles and all that, because they're like, well, they can't go over. SOG did go over into Cambodia.
nice.
Fun fact. Yeah. The special ops guys.
Like some Black Ops crap. I'd like to see that. Hey, Activision, if you're listening, which I know you're not, you bunch of snowflakes, but if you're ever listening, there's your plot for Cold War II right there.
Yes,
I remember
we
being
demand
so
it.
hyped for that game. The campaign, to be fair, everyone who's like been with the show for a long time, the campaign was pretty cool. One-time play, but if you wanted a cool like look on Black Ops, like CIA crap, that was a cool. I've always loved Black Ops. Anyways, so that's pretty much a lot of the news topics gone by.
Mm-hmm.
I was about to say, I didn't have too much more to go on about.
Well,
Yeah, I was about to say.
I do have a question for you.
Do you?
Yes. Want to be a pirate with me?
Where this is going?
So, I just recently found out, ladies and gentlemen, that in 2021, you can become a legal privateer in the country of Argentina. Apparently, they are suffering from horrible overfishing off of their coasts, and there's a bonus to this, John. Not only could we go and become legal privateers with a signed document from the country of Argentina, we could also kill commies.
Exactly. So, if whenever you hear that a nation is being overfished or that certain waters are being overfished, ladies and gentlemen, you can automatically, almost always guaranteedly assume it's China. China goes
Ding,
about,
ding, ding, ding. We have a winner. Give that boy a Cupid doll.
Yep. China goes around the world robbing our waters because they don't have any regulation. They don't care. They just swoop up whatever they find. You know, you ever wonder why like these other animals that aren't for eating are disappearing? It's because they don't care. They're fishing them up and eat them anyways. You know. So if you're an environmentalist who cares a lot about whales, dolphins, sharks, and barracuda, then you need to go ahead and hey China, you know, if you're going to be guilt tripping anyone, it should be the communists.
Yep.
Not the Americans. The Americans have done actually quite well. Our conserving systems are fantastic in both hunting and fishing. It allows us to be fed, and like we do something that China doesn't do, and that is we have entire breeding farms so we don't hurt the eco life in an area that just reproduce so we can grab that up and we're not, you know, say overfishing Argentina's waters like a bunch of asshats. So
Right.
there's a moral reason to do this, and it's, you know, there's plenty to do this. So if you like the wildlife, hey, Argentina's hiring. Go kill you some dirty fish killers, whatever. But also, yeah, you said it best. Communism, man. That would be so cool. And imagine the stories. Like, I'm not kidding, man. I want to go. I want to go, man.
And ladies and gentlemen, I'm not going to get into too much detail, but I have been to Argentina on a missions trip. And let me tell you, as a single man, there's lots of good reasons to go to Argentina. I'll just leave it at that.
So if you're stuck in life like me, and life is boring, just bland, I'm strongly considering looking into how I go out there. Get me to Argentina. I'll join your crew, man. I wanna be able to tell my grandkids, what did you do during the great COVID-19, Grandpa? I went and killed communists in South America.
That's right.
You know, and that's just it, man. And I like that idea a lot because my story pool's getting a little dry in my friend groups. They've already heard everything I have to say. It's time to make some new ones, in my opinion. So, who knows, ladies and gentlemen? This show might be put on a postpone, or maybe we'll still do it, but maybe I'll have a change of scenery because I'll be in Argentina. Who knows?
Yeah.
Maybe we'll be in Argentina.
Yes.
Right. Thank you, everybody, for listening. This is Today Media. This is our kind of our weekly kind of talk, fool around discussion. if you guys want anything talked about specifically, go ahead and shoot us a comment. If you know me personally, shoot me a message. So on and so forth, guys. I appreciate you guys listening. We're getting our website still in the works. I'll make sure to give you guys all that link, and everything will be worked out. That'll be great. So thank you guys for listening. It's Today the Day Media. Vigilance, and that's my buddy War Spirit. And we're going to go ahead and sign off. Goodbye, everybody.
Bye bye.